Yeah, you and I can talk about it, but
Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Sex, Lies, and Consciousness with your luscious hostess, May Vu, broadcasting live every Monday at 12 noon Pacific Time.
Hello, everyone. This is May Vu. Another beautiful day in California. Oh, my goodness, the blue sky and big white puffy clouds out today. Well, this past week, to be honest, I have been under a pile of paperwork. I have to dig myself out of a tax audit for 2009, and it has not been fun, let me tell you. Anyway, I think I'm almost to the end of it, but it's just exhausted me and got me so I didn't even have time to eat, let alone do work or anything else out there. But it's just kind of tied in with today's topic, I think, because I have with me a new friend. His name is Paul Hess, and he is the founder of Primal Rejuvenation. And he has talked to me about what to eat to make me more alive and more of a sex machine. I've never thought of myself as a sex machine, as a woman, by the way, but it was very intriguing. So I'm like, say no more. I want you to tell me all this stuff on the radio. That's the price of being my friend, is that whenever you start to say something interesting, I always say, oh, wait, can't talk anymore. I don't want to burn this off. I want you to do this on the radio with me. So that's what we're talking about today, is the sex diet. What to eat to really enhance your sexual pleasure, from increasing your lubrication to increasing the amount of semen that you have. I know this is a big thing for men. As a woman, I don't really know why. But I think Paul has an opinion about that too. And then let's see what else. And this will also create intimacy in our relationship. Now, I know, as a woman of 40-something, that's what I'm going to be saying from now on. As a woman of 40-something, and dating and in a new relationship, this is really important to me. I don't want this to turn into like my old marriage, or like how I was in my old marriage. I want to continue to be alive, thriving. I want my man to be, alive, thriving, and sexually aroused as much as possible, and especially for him, he's 64, so I want him to be at his peak. Like, well, actually, I want him to be like he was 30-something, because I'm really horny and ready to go anytime. So anyway, so Paul said he has some ideas, so I'm like, you have to come. So Paul, come on in, honey.
Hi, May. Hi, everybody.
How's that for an introduction, huh?
That was good. Yeah. I think a lot of my clients can relate to what you're saying. They want, they want to have a good sex drive, and they want their man to be able to keep up with them oftentimes. And,
yeah.
Or it could be the other way around, where the man wants the woman to be more in the mood. But need to have both people having the same level of drive, so sometimes you got to do something like eat something to get your libido up.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize this, but my sex drive in my 40s is actually a lot higher than my sex drive was in my 20s or 30s. Then I was so worried about getting pregnant and making babies and all this stuff, so that's just was all about that. It wasn't about sex for pleasure, sex for connection. It was just really about sex as a security building foundation, so it's about making babies and all that stuff. It wasn't this. So, and then of course I'm going through changes that I heard from other women, but I never thought it would hit me. So it's just all very confusing right now for me. I'm too tired, after 4 p.m. I'm tired, and by 7 p.m. I'm done for. So sex at night doesn't really turn me on. I like it to turn me on, but it doesn't. And then during the afternoon, I'm so busy working and so focused on that. So it's just all crazy. And then when you say, that there's food that I can eat that could make a difference, I'm really intrigued about that.
Well, yeah. Basically, your sex drive is a function or reflection of your overall health. So what I'm really talking about is increasing your overall health. And that depends on two major things, is whether you're getting all the nutrients you need to have energy and for your body to heal itself, and how many of the toxins you're getting out. Because we're exposed to so many toxins all the time. Those toxins stay in your body. They're a toxic molecule like mercury is occupying a cell receptor site where some other healthy mineral like, say, magnesium or selenium is supposed to be doing its function. And when the mercury there, it can't do its function. Or like with thyroid hormones, you've got chlorine and fluoride from our water getting into your thyroid hormone that can't act normally. So your metabolism goes down because your thyroid hormones are now toxic and fake.
So before you go further, I realize that we need to introduce you properly because I don't want people to think that you are a doctor talking, right?
Yes.
So tell them a bit about yourself and how you come to know what you know.
Yes, that's good. I have a PhD in sociology, which has nothing directly to do with what I'm talking about, except I was trained in systems theory so that whenever I tackle a problem like energy and nutrition, I get all the different perspectives and see everything in a more complete fashion, and I can explain that more later. But basically how I specifically got into nutrition, got chronic fatigue, which is a combination of a lot of things with a lot of different symptoms. And the chronic fatigue is basically caused by a toxic overload and a lack of nutrients along with stress. And then you get all kinds of symptoms, low thyroid, low adrenals, you get opportunistic infections, candida, some people have Lyme. There are a whole bunch of things, and people aren't really sure what it is because they're chasing a lot of symptoms but often not getting at the root causes. So with my systems perspective, I was able to consider all the different factors and basically figure out what are some of the root causes, like the malnutrition and toxicity that are really determining all these symptoms.
Well, that sounds really difficult because I'm just relating from my experience. It's like I've been trying to eat better in the last 3 or 4 years, and all I've been doing is confusing myself more.
Well, yeah.
It's so complex. I can't tell you. The more I learn about this stuff, the more confused I get.
Well, yeah, okay. I'll give you the background on how the evidence. If you look at all the cultures throughout history, you find that the healthiest ones actually did eat animal protein and often added extra fat. And the most famous study of this, according to traditional ways.
Okay.
Okay. So, and the guy who studied this was a dentist named Weston Price, who went around the world. He was a vegetarian. He wanted to prove vegetarianism was superior, and he found the opposite when he visited all these cultures all over. And this is about in the 1920s, where these cultures were going through transitions, where some people were eating the natural way, the traditional way, and other people starting to eat a modern way with canned food and things like that. And he found that even people within the same family, as soon as they start eating the modern way, they started getting worse. But the traditional ways included meat or dairy as this protein source.
So wait, I got to slow you down. So first of all, I have to explain to the audience. Paul actually has a cold, so he's sorry for the hacking and the coughing there. And the other thing is, so when you talk about eating traditionally, you mean like in the olden days, right? Wait, how far back are you talking about traditional eating?
It's been done for thousands of years before the 20th century processing of food, like canning and food preservatives and things like that. Just basic organic food, simple as that.
Okay, so you're talking, are you going all the way back to when people used to hunt and grow and kill their own animals, or is butchery part of this conversation?
Farming. I'm including farming and some hunting. I mean, there's the paleo diet that we've learned from, and basically traditional farming where there's agriculture as well, growing vegetables, dairy, chicken, eggs, things like that.
So organic, growing your own vegetable, or smaller farm kind of environment where you probably have met your chicken or your cow before you eat them.
Yeah.
Okay, so not the Costco kind, not the Lucky's and Safeway's kind.
Yeah.
Okay, so by then we already are wrecking the thing. Okay, so now that we have a baseline, that's good. So if we were in the environment where we get to eat the food off the land, where we actually, see the dirt, smell the dirt, and have met the animals that we're eating, and that is actually a more healthier way of eating for humans than just a strict vegetarian diet. This West guy found out.
Yeah, Weston A. Price found that. Yeah, and he found lower disease rates and better dental conditions. He was a dentist. That's one thing he looked for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
And then what happened? Well, there's agriculture that relies on grains or corn, for example. Even in ancient times, those civilizations tended to dwindle. We have the fossil records of that. But now we have a diet way too high in sugars and carbohydrates and trans fatty acids. And then we have all kinds of fads, things that, vegetarianism doesn't work for everyone. It works maybe for some people, but a lot of people are getting into it for religious reasons, which I can respect.
Mm-hmm.
But we do need some kind of animal protein. It doesn't have to be meat, but the evidence shows this. And so we also need vegetables. We need things to balance our pH, become alkaline.
Okay. So basically, so far I can understand this. So far I need a certain amount of vegetable, cooked or uncooked. See, it gets complicated.
Yeah. Cooked or uncooked? Well, yeah, it could be both. I think vegetable juicing is the best way to get raw vegetables and in very large amounts that you could never eat. You could never chew that much, but if you juice it, you get a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So let me continue to give a little bit of an overview.
Okay.
Where we're going with this is what specifically fuels up your sex drive. Now, I'm saying your health in general depends on a mixed diet, which for me includes everything but grains, basically. So you've got fruits, vegetables, dairy, eggs, meats, coconut, things like that. Everything but grains, because as we know, those could get your blood sugar too high, can destabilize your moods, make you gain weight. Too much sugar and grains, carbohydrates in the diet. So that's kind of an overview.
So wait, so no grains, like, I mean, you're talking an Asian here. I love rice. So, like, no rice?
Well, even in Chinese tradition of Taoism, they had a saying that said no grains. So they knew even back then. And so the paleo diet has also popularized that position. And then there was Atkins, too. There are a lot of different diets that corroborate that. Yeah, that's
okay.
right. And I frequently hear this from my Asian friends. You mean no rice? It's like, like you can't even own shoes anymore or anything,
Like, you take away our rice, it's kind of like we take away your bread and butter. That's
well,
like...
Yeah. Well, you should definitely take away the bread. You take my...
Take your bread away.
Take my bread, then we'll both help each other. How about that?
Okay. But the butter is okay.
Yeah, the butter is one of your most healing foods, for
You're
sure.
kidding. Come on. This is killing me. So,
yeah.
butter... Wait, did I just hear you say it's one of the most healing foods?
Yeah. So here's the part that directly affects sex, okay? So sex requires cholesterol. Your hormones are made out of cholesterol, which is found in... Cholesterol is not a fat, but it is found in saturated fats, which are from animals.
Okay.
So from meat, eggs, and dairy, and butter is pure fat. So it's our highest source of cholesterol, really. So that's why. So your hormones, your adrenal and your sex hormones are made out of cholesterol. in fact, all of your cell membranes have cholesterol, a lot of cholesterol in them. Your brain is 2/3 fat and cholesterol. Your brain is very rich in cholesterol. So it's actually good for you. Cholesterol is part of our body, and it's been demonized through really sloppy science and through which I won't get into those details. I'm just going to give you the solution. And there's plenty on this. If you look, the Weston A. Price Foundation has a website that, goes into the cholesterol myths. And I tend to work with people who have already understood that, and then they want to take it to another level of exactly how to eat these foods. So, if you eat meat and
wait, hold on. I'm still sitting there with my mouth wide open going, the cholesterol stuff really got me. I'm just like, dude, all this time we've been taught that cholesterol is bad. And I'm like, I know that there's good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. I do know that. So are you saying that butter fits more in the good cholesterol stuff?
Well, what you're talking about is measured in the blood.
Okay.
And the food you eat, eating dietary cholesterol does not necessarily raise the cholesterol in your blood too high. What raises cholesterol in your blood too high is actually things like carbohydrates and trans fatty acids. So you might be wondering, well, why is that? Well, actually, it's because those foods, the sugars, carbs, and trans fatty acids, create damage in your body that the cholesterol comes out and repairs.
Huh.
So cholesterol is correlated with the problem, but it's the solution and not the cause of it.
Oh, so when you are high in cholesterol, because it's coming out to try to fix something in your body?
Yes, that's right.
But we're only measuring it and we just see, oh, you're high in cholesterol.
Yeah. It's like blaming firemen for the fire. If you didn't see the fire start first, you wouldn't,
Right.
You might not know that the firemen were there to put it out.
Oh, my God, Paul.
If you didn't look carefully, if you're just like a long distance away and taking a quick look at it,
yeah,
you wouldn't maybe see that the water they're spraying is putting the fire out.
Yeah. Well,
that's how sloppy our science is.
I have to say, okay, when I wrote up the show, I actually did a quick search, a quick Google search on sex diet. And I have to tell you, there's nobody talking about sex diet out there. God, my brain is so filled with silly numbers from tax audit that I can't remember, but I remember like Cosmo and Dr. Oz and all that stuff. They use the word sex diet, but they don't tell you what to eat. They tell you, what is it that they tell you? They tell you that you need, they tell you that you should have more sex and that helps you as a good way to diet. So it's a reverse conversation, but no one dare touch what you should eat to help you have better sex or produce more semen or produce more lubrication, like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So this is pretty bold of you, actually. I think to be on the forefront talking about this thing.
Yeah, and they probably don't know because they've never really experimented with these kinds of foods. I mean, I was on a date with a vegetarian and she couldn't orgasm, and I fed her some eggs, and then she could orgasm just like that right after she ate the eggs.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Nuh-uh. And what kind of eggs, and how did you prepare the eggs? And
well, I just think I scrambled them for her, but there are better ways to do it than that, much better ways. But her body was just craving it, and she needed it. So
interesting. All right, I'll stop interrupting you. Keep going. I'm sure I'll have more reaction to this.
Yeah. So I mean, eating the meats, and especially the more stimulating meats, some of the more stimulating red meats, they're going to be. Well, actually, David Data has mentioned, you eat more meat, you'll jack up your sex drive. And so I've taken that to the science and art of that and come up with recipes and ways that would really take that to as far as you want to take it and can stand it.
And how much meat are we talking about? Because now I'm imagining all the men with, that goes to big cattleman restaurant with big fat beer gut and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. They may have a strong sex drive, but I'm not willing to ride them.
Well, yeah, no, not if they're overweight. A lot of that's from the carbs.
Yeah.
eating with it, the French fries or the sugary soft drinks and things like that. But there are ways to do it where you eat. Well, you have to be disciplined. You can't eat too many calories, and you will get fat. But I find on this diet, it doesn't. The main reason people get fat, most people, is because of the carbs. Because your body, when you take in, your body's not designed to eat that many grains that were invented by agriculture, and your blood sugar goes too high. Your body can't take in that much sugar, so your pancreas produces a hormone called insulin that has to store that sugar, okay?
Okay.
Then it stores all of the sugar, and then your sugar crashes. So then you have to eat more. So that's addictive. So your moods go up and down. And in the meantime, when your blood sugar goes down and you don't have any, then you produce stress hormones. Then you produce adrenaline or cortisol that starts to break down tissue. You start to cannibalize your body to use that tissue. So you have can have a stressful feeling, and then you can and then you try to satisfy it with more carbohydrates. You need more carbohydrates to relax or get your sugar up again. That's kind of a very general, crude explanation, but people, if you tune in, you'll experience that role. Most people who eat carbohydrates can tune in and experience that roller coaster.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about what I ate today. It's 12 p.m. my time right now, and I shoved like half a sandwich. It's good bread, but still, I shoved a sandwich, grilled cheese sandwich into my mouth so I could get to this point. But I can feel my energy going really low, and I'm like, I want to eat something, and I don't know what to eat, Paul.
Well, the first thing you have to do is figure out all the things you're allergic to. Like a lot of people are, the grains, especially gluten in wheat, people are allergic to that. That's going to crash your energy. The cheese that's from pasteurized milk rather than raw milk, a lot of people are allergic to that. And so a grilled cheese sandwich, wow, like a pizza is like an allergy, meal, and a lot of sandwiches are too.
So does that mean you don't eat a pizza?
No, I don't eat any grains.
Wow. Okay.
They're low in nutrients. Grains are low in nutrients. They're basically still junk food. And people, they're always asking, what if I sprout them or what if I soak them? No, you're still eating low nutrient food. It's too high in sugar. That feeds candida. That throws your off. That prevents you from becoming all the sex machine that you can be.
Okay. So far what I got is no grains. Yeah.
You replace those with fat and meat and things like vegetables. The fat is a more stable source of energy. It doesn't provoke any. The fat doesn't need to be stored quickly, okay? So it's not going to, you're not going to crave it and start storing it quickly. I mean, you still have to watch your calorie levels if you're going to lose weight. That's a given on any diet. But you're going to burn it more steadily. It's going to be more nourishing. It's going to help repair for toxic damage. It's going to help capture toxins. It's going to help build your hormones. And it's going to moisturize your skin. That's the big thing that I don't want to, miss, is that your skin, is made of cholesterol, and it's moisturized from the inside out, through oils, basically. So when people get on the diet of primal rejuvenation, is the name of this diet I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And that I created, it makes people look younger. It makes their skin look younger and glow, and it improves your circulation too. And then when you start having more sex, then that improves your circulation even more. Gives you that glow.
Right. Well, while we're there, actually, no, I'm going to take a quick commercial, and then we're going to talk about sex and semen and looking good and all that fun stuff.
Okay.
Here we go.
Is your marriage or relationship in crisis? Where one partner wants to expand into their sex and bring scary changes to the relationship, while the other partner is dug in, protective, and saying, "No way in hell is this going to happen? May knows this place well, and she can help both sides. She is truly amazing. Learn more about her specialty, crisis coaching for couples and individuals, at sexliesandconsciousness.com.
Okay, we're back. This is May Vu, and I am talking with Paul Hess today. He is the founder of Primal Rejuvenation. I don't usually like to bring experts on the show to talk because I really do want my show to be all about like two friends talking at a kitchen table, sharing what we know. And Paul knows something that I don't. He's like really into what to eat. And as he puts it, what he feeds his woman so that she can orgasm. And I'm like, what? So I wanted to hear what he feeds his woman and what he feeds himself so that he can maintain his erection and have sex anytime he wants to and all that good stuff. How old are you, Paul?
I'm 51.
You're 51. And do you experience any of the dive in sexual, penis working correctly and all that stuff like a lot of men?
Not really. No, I'm able to keep it. I've been sexually active, and there's never really been a slowdown.
Not yet. No, I'm just see how I'm so trained to think that way. It's like, not yet, huh?
Yeah, well, eventually, I'm sure. But, you have to do certain things. You have to eat in a disciplined way, and it's worth it. Being close to a woman and having sex is such a great thing. That's all the motivation that I need. And once other people see that it matters, I think a lot of people have never really done something that matters. They think it's, I should do this or I should do that, so my doctor won't yell at me. But they don't. What you really have to do is tune in to how it makes you feel better. And that's really the major skill that I developed, is that I feel the effect of each food after I eat it. So I can figure out what's working and what's not. So
yeah, it's interesting. It's like I've been doing I've been trying to get myself to notice the effect more lately, and I noticed that when I eat like a meal that has all kinds of vegetables, cooked or uncooked, and not grain but nuts, I feel great, and I don't need to eat a lot. But when I eat a steak meal with potatoes, baked potatoes and bread and pasta and a little dead vegetable on the side, I eat a lot more, and then I don't feel so good afterward.
Yeah, that's very good that you notice, and that's what you have to do to guide yourself.
But it does feel good to shove those things in my mouth, though. I have to say, it doesn't feel good afterwards.
Well, that's what life is all about, shoving things in your mouth, huh?
That's right. Hard thing, Paul, hard thing.
Well, that's what we're working on here.
That's right. So what do you do to maintain yourself?
Say that again?
What do you do to maintain yourself?
Just with the food, or beyond that even?
No, specifically to do your best so that you can be a great sex machine.
Oh, I see. Well, okay. So, having a healthy diet in general, but let's say I'm having sex for, a day or an evening or both, So, I will eat small portions of meat throughout the experience to keep me going. That's one thing that I have there. So,
Wait. The image that comes up is like, here's the plate of meat on the side, and there's you in the bedroom, fucking someone. And then it's like, just a second, honey, I need a bite of meat.
Yeah, something like that,
Nuh-uh.
Not in the middle of it. Not in the middle. It's not, it doesn't, to feed that often, but, close by, or especially if I'm at her place, I've got a bag of stuff. I've got a big bag of stuff I keep with me, and that's one of the things that you learn to do, is you learn to take everything with you, because there's not that much you can get from a restaurant.
Okay, what's in your bag?
So what's in my bag? Well, that becomes getting to there's meats, probably some raw milk, something with butter or cream in it, maybe a smoothie with eggs. That sort of rounds out dairy, eggs, meat. Those are some of the main things. Maybe some vegetable juice for that day. Those kinds of things. Yeah.
Wow. So hold on. Let me just go through that again. So meat, are you talking like dry out meat or cooked meat, or what kind of meat?
Well, the recipes vary a lot, but fish, fowl, and red meats, beef or buffalo or lamb, something like that.
And how much? Like an 8 ounce, a 12 ounce, a 16 ounce?
Well, no. I mean, it depends if I'm having a full meal or just snacking because I'm really active. I find that essentially, having a between meals, I eat small amounts, or I just eat small amounts constantly if I don't want to stop. Because after a large meal, you don't want to have sex right away. Your body's digesting. But if you have a little bit, you can keep going sometimes. You just keep going.
Okay, so wait. So a small amount of meat, like you've just barbecued it, or are you talking like dehydrated meat so that it's kind of like going camping?
I can't really get into details. That's what you get in a consultation with me, since I'm a nutritional consultant.
I see. Okay.
I can't really recommend the same thing for everybody, but
right. Oh, that's true. So let's make that point clear. This is just Paul's bag. It's different for each one of us because we all need something different, right?
Yeah. That's why you have to listen to your body and make adjustments.
Okay, so you have the meat, and then some raw milk. What does that mean?
Raw milk is unpasteurized milk. It's not been heated, because the heat destroys the nutrients and enzymes that are needed to digest the milk. So people are less allergic to raw milk, and there are far more nutrients in it.
Where do you get raw milk?
Oh, well, in California, you can get that at usually health food stores. Whole Foods wimped out, got afraid of lawsuits, or their insurance company told them you couldn't do it, and but used to be able to get it there. So in some states, raw milk is legal. In some states, it's not. You have to look up raw milk online to find how.
And would it count if I do raw almond milk?
No, that's not milk. That's watery almonds.
Come on, I just
people get hung up on words. No.
I just bought a nut bag, one of those meshy bags so I can make raw almond milk. I was gonna sprout it and everything. So that doesn't count.
No, it's just almonds. Almonds are okay, they're good food, but they're not. They don't have the cholesterol and the kinds of proteins that are going to really build your body.
Okay. All right, so there we go. And then dairy, like you bring a tube of butter or what? What counts as dairy? Cream cheese, does that count as dairy?
Cheese, no. Well, yeah, I guess cream cheese is, but the things that raw dairy is generally better. The milk, cream, butter, and cheese. And some people include eggs in there. Whatever you call it, eggs are just as good for you. So.
Okay. And the eggs, are they raw or are they cooked?
Generally, the raw eggs are better.
Okay.
Yeah, better for you.
That's
so.
Okay, and then just a bunch of veggie juice. That I do know what to do with that. Okay.
Yeah, vegetable juice. Again, I give recipes that are low carbohydrate or sugar recipes. Carrots are high sugar. Excuse me. Some of the greener vegetables are lower in sugars, so you have to watch that too. There are a lot of things to balance. Okay.
All right, and then talk to me about on the woman's side. You said I like the way you said I feed. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me. I guess I didn't. Let me just tell you a little more of the result I get. I'm telling you what to do, but not entirely why, which is what I think you're asking. Basically, you can get it up, have a firmer, more easily, have a firmer erection, have the energy to keep going, and then after you ejaculate, you can recover more and do it again. So, I can count multiple times, and that just means you're having more sex, and everybody's happy, I guess. So it also helps. You can also see how you're eating based on what your semen looks like, the volume, and whether it's thick and white versus clear or runny. Thicker and whiter is more nutrient dense.
Yeah.
Better health. So you want to monitor that too.
Now, does that also work when someone is shoot, I can't think of that word, not castrated, tied, have their tubes tied?
Well, yeah, you still are feeding whatever they have. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that would. I personally have not had a vasectomy.
Right.
So I can't speak from personal experience.
Okay. So you want to check your semen to see how thick it is and how white and dense it is and all that versus watery.
Yeah.
Okay. What else?
Well, you'll be hornier, and and just one other thing is that as men age, it's good not to ejaculate as frequently. I mean, many men are already figuring this out. That even if you have sex, sometimes don't ejaculate, and that's going to give you a lot more energy. You're going to feel better. Sometimes it's frustrating in the moment when you have to stop and you want to, but it's okay. It really feels good to end your session feeling with like a lot of energy and like you could keep going. Just having that feeling of strength and vitality is so incredible, and to not feel tired.
Okay, so that's another one that's different for me too, because I'm thinking, I don't know what it's like on the men's side, but on the women's side, it feels like it's my job, and sometimes like they should be. If they didn't come, then somehow it's a failure or something left unsaid or something. And what you're saying is that it's actually a good thing to not come for a man. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, definitely. Because it can't come every day or 3 times a day like you could when you were 20 years old, but you'll have more energy, and if he doesn't come, you just get more sex.
That's true, because if he doesn't come, then he's going to keep wanting to do it. Then I get to have more.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
So,
interesting.
There's some advantages to being a woman, because women don't lose much energy by coming and having orgasm.
Well, yeah, but lately I've been learning about the whole female ejaculation thing, and then so I've been really intrigued with that and wanting to do that more and more each time. And now I just got some warning that, well, that's kind of like a men ejaculate, so it's not something that you want to do all the time either. Okay,
so maybe you need to feed it so that you don't get depleted.
Feed it? No. That's a slogan for a T-shirt there, Paul. You need to feed it so you don't get depleted. Okay. Right. So how do I feed it?
Well, just with what I'm saying in general, having the healthy, balanced diet, and especially with the sexual elements of cholesterol and protein. So pretty much all of the general suggestions I make apply to everything.
Yeah.
Since your sex drive and functioning is a reflection of your health.
And that's actually such an important thing that you said. You said it earlier, and I wanted to highlight it again. Your sex drive is a reflection of your health. So a lot of us, overworked, tired women, we don't have time. We don't have the energy for a sex drive, and that actually is a reflection of our health.
Yes. Yeah.
And we don't see it that way, and so of course you don't see the early sign, like that's a mild warning sign, and then cancer comes or whatever other disease comes to follow that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can learn to read the signals and make the connections.
Yeah. So
basically what I help with people with in general is their energy level.
Yeah.
Primal rejuvenation means that I help people who are tired of being tired to learn to eat for energy and rejuvenate their lives. So once you get your general health reflects how much energy you have, and once you have energy, what are you going to do with it?
You're gonna
have
fuck.
sex, get it on.
You're gonna fuck.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's too much fun. What else? What else do we need to know about this?
Well, you were going to ask some questions about women in particular.
Yeah, like I know for me, like the whole thyroid thing is also very tricky. I don't really know how to help it along, and maybe we already addressed it, but I'm done. I'm really done for by 4:00 in the afternoon. I've got nothing left to give. In the morning, I wake up, I have lots to give, and then I'm done for by 4.
Okay, well, a lot of that is a blood sugar crash after lunch, especially if you're eating grains for lunch, bread and rice and things like that. Your insulin is going to store all the sugar, and then you're going to have none.
Yeah.
You'll have steadier energy, and also so the fat will burn longer. And I used to get terrible blood sugar crashes like that. I used to have like cookies or bread or bagels and cream cheese or something there.
Yeah.
To eat again around that time to get the blood sugar back up.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, it wasn't really helping my toxic load. My liver couldn't even regulate the sugar I was eating. So you get that kind of crash.
Yeah.
So you stop eating those carbohydrates, and then you can have some snacks in between. Like you can, at that time, if you had vegetable juice, that would just flood your body with nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
And antioxidants and minerals and vitamins that go straight to your brain and go straight through your small intestine in your blood, and then you've got you'd be alkalinizing, you'd be increasing your oxygen in your blood, and you can refresh with things like that.
Okay. So it's a vegetable juice in the middle of the day that would really help, and then have some plate of meat to snack on.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's right. That's going in the right direction. It's, to get a person a full program, though, we'll have to sit down and really, we hammer it out. But yeah, you got the general idea.
So how do you work with people?
Well, I have a website, primalrejuvenation.com, and if you contact me, email me there, we can start with a free consultation. And then I'll hear what you want to work on, and I'll give you some explanation for what I see is causing your symptoms and things you want to change. And then if that makes sense to you, we can schedule a series of consultations where I give you a program to change the foods you're eating, and take a few supplements, only a few supplements, so not too many. A lot of people take too many supplements that don't work. So for people who are doing that, they can save money by working with me.
This is a random thought, but when you were talking, it made me think of that whole thing that we talked about, how semen is actually good for a woman's skin. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, your voice went out there a second. How semen is actually good for a woman? Is that what the question was?
For a woman's skin, yeah.
Yeah, actually, there are a lot of things in semen. It's shown that when a man ejaculates inside a woman's vagina, she absorbs a lot of chemicals that are brain satisfying. But now there's a problem with safe sex and birth control there. But even a man ejaculating on a woman's face or skin is known to have healing properties. So there are long traditions in Taoism and Indian tantric traditions of women using men's semen for that purpose, and especially by giving oral sex. That in itself, just the action of doing that, is good for the brain. And also taking the penis back into the back of the mouth is also stimulating the brain in a way that some yoga tongue positioning also do that too. So we know a fair amount about how this works.
How interesting. Well, I have to say that I do have a backing proof. My girlfriend, who is a high-paying escort, she is well sought after, and she's a woman in her 40s, and she swears by it. I mean, she swears by rubbing the ejaculations, the semen onto her skin, and the glow of that, and how that's her facial routine. She does not throw that stuff away and does not flinch at all. I mean, she worshipped that the semen like it's the best thing for a woman. It's
That's
amazing.
great, man. She figured it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of experience with that.
I know, and
Right.
she's so amazing too, because she's also quite an amazing healer and angel channeler. And she goes, May, when I get down on a man, I channel thousands of angels through my mouth and just allow me to suck on them and just get them to come all over me. And it's just so amazing the way she described it. And I'm like, I want to be like you.
Wow. It's great for a man to hear that too, because it makes men feel more sexually valuable. You know?
I think so too. She really has changed a lot of my perspective around all that. And she's not the only one. It seems like the women in the business really do know about the power of a cock and semen and sucking and giving men a great blowjob. Quite amazing.
Yeah.
Don't you feel so vindicated?
Yeah, we need more girls like that.
Hey, that's why Sex, Lies, and Consciousness is around, man. I want to bring out the real story around sex rather than all the crap that we've been fed for so long, all the grain crap about about sex that we've been fed that's so wrong. Anyway, well, so they know how to get a hold of you, Primal Rejuvenation. Yeah?
Yes. I did want to answer one more point you brought up if you did want. Okay, yeah. It's primalrejuvenation.com, and you asked about thyroid, and I actually have a section just on thyroid, because many people define their problem as why I have a low thyroid or low adrenals or this or that.
Yeah.
And it's all really, those are symptoms of underlying lack of nutrients and toxicity blocking the use of those nutrients or blocking the thyroid hormone directly. So what I want to say about thyroid, what most people don't understand is sometimes, I mean, you may have a low thyroid level, but that's just an effect. And the cause, okay, so let me back up. Okay, in case people don't know, their thyroid regulates your metabolism, okay?
Okay.
So, but at the same time, if you have a low metabolism, there's no point in the thyroid trying to run your metabolism at a higher speed than it's capable of. So therefore, the thyroid hormone levels have to slow down. So sometimes you have a metabolism problem causing the thyroid problem. So taking thyroid hormone is not going to help. So that's why we develop so-called allergies like Hashimoto's to thyroid or something called reverse T3. I won't get into the technicalities, but these may be ways of the body downregulating thyroid. This hasn't been studied enough.
Yeah.
But it's anybody can see that, let's say, if your liver is not producing enough, is not utilizing fats and sugars for energy, then your metabolism is going to be slow.
Yeah.
So thyroid hormones can't operate at a normal level. And this is what people are overlooking when they treat symptoms and in isolation like thyroid. So what really is going on is malnutrition and toxicity. And the treatment is the same whether the thyroid, well, not similar. If the thyroid is the problem or the metabolism is the problem, you're still going to need more nutrients and you have to detoxify.
And that's where all the complexity resides.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, honey, thank you so much for talking with me today about what to eat and how eating can affect our own sex machine inside us, and for really having the courage to speak about such a complex and crazy out subject of eating and the benefit of that and not going against, but speaking what you learn about what cholesterol, butter, all this stuff that marketing industry and everyone else has put their hands on and get us all so confused about. It's just a wild and crazy place here.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been fun, as usual. You're always lively and in passion.
Yeah, you're welcome. And so if they want a complimentary session with you to really look at what they want to achieve around their sex, and via eating and all that stuff, they can check you out at Primal Rejuvenation. Is there a phone number that you want to give out or anything? You don't have to.
Primalrejuvenation.com. Yeah,
Okay.
for your listeners, you can call me at 408-489-1190.
408-489-1190.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, Paul. And for all of you dating women out there, if you are looking for, if you're back on the market, got through your divorce and now looking to date again, I'm actually offering my first 25 people who sign up in April to get a free 1-hour dating discovery session with me. I have way too many friends and clients who are dating again, and they are really discovering that what they know about dating is completely not working and not useful for them now that they're on the market again. So it'd be great for you to take a look at what your beliefs are and what your approach are in dating again, and look at how you can be much more successful and not repeat the same pattern in men that you've had in the past. We don't want that again, do we? Anyway, you can reach me at Sex, Lies, and Consciousness, or you can email me, amazing, AMAIZIN, at sexliesandconsciousness.com. Talk to you soon. See you guys next Monday. Have a wonderful week.